Welcome back. The deadline is Tuesday for candidates to submit paperwork and signatures for the April election, and that includes the high-profile race for state Supreme Court.
Control of the court is at stake. It currently has a 4-3 conservative majority. Conservative Justice Patience Roggensack is retiring. 4 candidates are running to replace her. That includes 2 conservatives, Waukesha County Judge Jennifer Darrow and former state Supreme Court Justice Daniel Kelly. The liberal candidates, Dane County Judge Everett Mitchell and Milwaukee County Judge Janet Protasewicz.
The race is officially nonpartisan, meaning the top 2 candidates in the February primary, no matter their political leaning, will advance to the April election. With that, let's bring back our roundtable. J.R. Ross, editor of WisPolitics.com, Jesse Opine, Capitol Bureau Chief for the Cap Times in Madison, and A.J. Byaport, Capitol Bureau Chief and host of Capital City Sunday on WKOW-TV in Madison. Welcome back, all of you.
And so let's start with this race. At any point, just days away from this paperwork deadline, are there any candidates that you think have a certain advantage, or what do you think that we need to be watching over the next couple of weeks?
Oh, it's all about the lanes. So Judge Darrow oversaw this high-profile case, right? Is that enough to build attention for a Supreme Court race when that has nothing to do with running for Supreme Court, right? Justice Kelly has been the Supreme Court. He has the backing of kind of that intellectual conservative wing of the party. The Federal Society, are they going to put money behind him? There's a group out there, Fair Courts America, funded largely by Dick Uihlein, who has said it will spend whatever it takes to get Kelly through. There is no, as Matt pointed out, no conservative primary and liberal primary. So if they're going to spend all this money on Kelly, could you actually turn off certain voters and depress turnout on the conservative side and allow liberals both get through? Probably not, but there's something to watch there. Judge Janet, I mean, she's been the formula for success for liberals. Progressive, former prosecutor, judge. She's also, though, going to have all her cases gone over and looked at and said, okay, you gave a light sentence of person A, B, and C. Are you fit for the Supreme Court? Judge Mitchell, he is on children's court. His cases aren't really out there in public, mostly under seal, but he's made comments that will probably come up. For example, when he's at UW-Madison, his employee said he questioned the big deal about shoplifting from big box stores. You can add that argument all you want to. Not a great thing to say if running for judge statewide.
Yeah.
So they all have these kind of pluses and minuses of this field.
AJ and Jesse, based on what JR was saying, is there a scenario where we could have the 2 conservative candidates or the 2 liberal candidates win? How likely do we think that is?
I don't think that's very likely. I think that by the time the people who are actually motivated to vote in this race have the candidates fleshed out for them and they learn more, they see interviews, they see ads, they see posts on social, they'll have a sense of, okay, who are the quote-unquote Republican candidates, who are the quote-unquote Democratic candidates. I'm interested in seeing our voters moved by, as JR alluded to, these campaign attacks based on what someone did as a judge. You know, Janet Protasewicz is already under the spotlight because of some of these cases, but that's not really going to matter that much as a state Supreme Court justice. Former Justice Janine Geske was bemoaning this when we talked to her not that long ago, saying, I don't understand why a state Supreme Court race is about some of these things that are pretty irrelevant to the job as a state Supreme Court justice. So I'll be interested in seeing, one, how often do those past cases come up? Probably a lot. But then more importantly, does that really move the needle for voters?
Well, and Jesse, they've become political campaigns to an extent.
Absolutely, they have. We always mention to folks that it's an ostensibly nonpartisan race, but to AJ's point, I don't think it's likely that you would have, 2 liberal candidates come through or 2 conservative candidates come through, unless there was something major that really affected the parties at a national level that, comes down to the state level that way. But, they've become incredibly political. You're going to see a lot of negative advertising. A lot of those cases, you can cherry pick any light sentence or any criminal who was charged and did something terrible later and make a pretty good attack ad.
A lot of talk about the control of the court. So given the makeup of the legislature and some of the issues that could go to the Wisconsin Supreme Court, what are some of the issues that you think could be front and center for this new court?
Control of the legislature, for one. I mean, we have maps that were drawn by Republican lawmakers and blessed by the state Supreme Court. If a liberal wins, you can have open the door to a challenge to those maps and argue that they are a partisan gerrymander, which violates Wisconsin Constitution.
Ahead of 2024 even.
Yes. Yeah. I'm not saying that is there, but you could raise that argument. Abortion is going to be a huge issue this spring. It was this past fall. Democrats have not forgotten that. They're going to drive that issue this spring, the Supreme Court race. Josh Call, the Attorney General, has a lawsuit challenging the 1849 ban. If a liberal wins, that lawsuit has a better chance of being successful. So expect those issues to be a big driver for progressive voters this spring.
And along those lines, I would put abortion as the thing I'm watching most closely as the issue that the court could decide. Because as JR said, I think with redistricting, even if they threw out the maps, it'd be difficult because of the breakdown of the state to draw something that is close to a 50-50 makeup. But with abortion, you talk to Republicans, it's hard to get a sense on if the caucus is going to be able to agree on a comprehensive, quote-unquote, modern set of abortion restrictions. So it may come down to the court, and of course, if you have a 4-3 liberal-leaning court, as JR just said, there's a good chance that the court would then strike down this ban, and then it's back to the drawing board, and the legislature will have to take some action if they're serious about having some sort of abortion restriction.
Well, and Jesse, both state parties, outside groups, there's going to be an incredible amount of money and campaigning coming in the next couple weeks here.
There will be, and I agree with AJ that abortion is the issue that I'm going to be watching the most closely, because it's not just a campaign issue. We saw just how motivating it was, though, in the last set of elections, and I don't think Democrats are interested in forgetting that and letting up on that anytime soon. They're going to tie conservative candidates to that 1849 ban, which we know is largely unpopular, and it has real serious effects on people's lives. So it's something that the court will have a really big role to play in.
The conversation continues up next. Battleground Wisconsin. New insight from our panel next.